Namaste. I am Ma Nitya Yogananda Swami, and on behalf of Nityananda Sangha, I welcome all of you on this International Day of Yoga for this very profound and rare opportunity to hear from a living, enlightened yogi and spiritual master, Paramahamsa Nityananda, also lovingly known as Swamiji. For many of you, this may be the first time in your life that you are experiencing a living, enlightened master, and he will be addressing all of us from the highest state of consciousness on a subject that is very near and dear to many of us, which is yoga. For those who don't know a little bit about Swamiji, Paramahamsa Nityananda achieved enlightenment at the tender age of 12 and is named among the top 100 most spiritually influential in the world by Watkins, Mind Body, which is the oldest esoteric publication. He is born yogi, a mystic, a spiritual healer, and a global leader in the science of enlightenment. He traveled as a wandering monk, gaining deep insights into the problems facing humanity. At the age of 22, he realized his life mission is to serve humanity, to end suffering, and to share his experience of enlightenment with everyone. Swamiji is a spiritual genius with an enlightened insight into everything from management to meditation, from relationships to religion, and from success to spirituality. Swamiji is working actively with researchers to bring scientific understandings to Eastern mystical phenomena like Kundalini awakening, spiritual healing. He has designed specific meditation techniques to help people with disorders like diabetes, cancer, depression, etc. Swamiji brings to us a wealth of practical wisdom, meditation techniques, and tools for long-lasting transformation. Swamiji is the most spiritual teacher on YouTube with more than 19 million views. He has authored over 500 books in 27 languages. He has established over 40 temples and over 1,000 meditation centers all around the globe, through which he has served thousands of people with free medical services, with free food, and free educational services. Swamiji will be sharing a special and important wake-up call to all of us about yoga, what yoga really was meant for, which is achieve the highest consciousness and awakening the Kundalini, mystical powers, and awakening the extraordinary abilities to maximize our potentials as human beings. Over time, yoga has become diluted and lost its purpose. Swamiji's message will help us reconnect with what is authentic, and as well as how to use the practice of yoga to achieve the purpose of our life. Now, with no more further delay, it is my privilege and honor to invite His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda to kindly address us all. Thank you.
नित्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. First, I wanted to congratulate this country for celebrating International Yoga Day. At last, we have done it. It's a victory. It's a victory of all the yogis from Mahadeva, Adi Yogi, to every yogi who dedicated his life to keep this science alive, let me explain yoga. Understand? Adi Yogi Mahadeva revealed this science in Shivagamas to the whole universe as a science to awaken your inner potential energy. I don't want to say the physical postures are not yoga, and I don't want to say physical health is not purpose of yoga. That is also included. Please understand, there is so much of confusion as usual. Anything practiced by billions will have variations, confusions, debates. It's usual. Whether the physical postures are yoga, please understand, physical postures are also yoga. It is not that they are not part of yoga, and I also don't want to say they are alone as yoga. No. Physical postures are not excluded, but that does not mean only physical postures are yoga. It's a great science where your body is trained to achieve its peak potential through asanas and mind is trained through liberated thinking. Your breathing structure is trained through pranayama. The various steps are used in yoga ultimately to awaken your Kundalini Shakti. Yoga is not meant just for your well-being or health. It is meant to awaken your mystical powers. It is meant to awaken your spiritual realization, realizing your spiritual identity is the ultimate goal of yoga. I'll just try to introduce basic concepts about yoga. What is yoga? What is not yoga? How it is done? How it should not be done? Why it is done? The basic questions about yoga, I'll try to explain. Kundalini is the inner potential energy. Once it is awakened, you will experience extraordinary health, physically, mentally, and extraordinary powers, abilities. Everything in yoga is finally aimed at. It can be as simple as washing your eyes, are as difficult as Shirasasana, Neti or Dauti Kriyas. Everything is aimed at awakening the Kundalini Shakti in you. To awaken the extraordinary possibilities and abilities in you. Yoga is one of the greatest gift given to the world by Mahadeva directly. Please understand, yoga is organized by Patanjali but gifted by Mahadeva himself. In the recent days, modern days, for India, when we utter the word recent days, modern days, it's 10,000 years. So in the recent days, 10,000 years before, Patanjali organized it. But originally, it originates from Mahadeva, the Adi Yogi. Many people ask me, no, today the asanas, postures, as it is taught, Patanjali is not speaking about it. No scriptures are talking about it. This is one of the biggest questions. Many so-called intellectuals pose this question, and they also use this question point to attack yogic tradition. Please understand, every posture, every asana is clearly described, including the way you need to breathe, very clearly by Mahadeva in Hatha Yoga literatures. There are books like Kumbhaka Patati, Hatha Yoga Pratipika, volumes. Mahadeva has taught to Devi and some of the rishis very clearly. Every posture, 997 asanas. I am sure Mahadeva has explained many more, but whatever original verses we are able to get from that 997 asanas we have retrieved. Please understand, every single act you are requested, recommended, expected to do in Nitya Yoga system is backed with the time-tested, foolproof scriptures, yogic scriptures, directly by Mahadeva. So this idea, the postures as it is taught in the modern day are not available in the original scripture, maybe due to either the people who put this question have not read the yogic literatures, or some of the dilutions happened by the modern day yoga teachers. Yoga is originally taught by Mahadeva. The vast yogic literatures, we have retrieved at least 30 authentic, time-tested, foolproof yogic literatures And fortunately, in the modern day, very authoritative translations in Western languages like English, French is available. Basically, yoga is to awaken your Kundalini Shakti and manifest what you want as reality, ultimately merge, become one with, realize your highest spiritual identity, Shivoham. The experience of I am Shiva, I am the divine. Understand, it may start with bending the body, but it ends in uniting your consciousness with the divine, becoming one with the divine. However, even in the polluted, diluted, crudest form, yoga spreading is okay. I am welcoming it. Because once people start practicing, yoga is such a powerful science. It is independently intelligent to awaken the intelligence of a practitioner and guide them step by step to its purest form. Please understand, yoga is not some dead postures. Once you start practicing, it will lead you to its purest form. It's an independent intelligence. It will lead you to its highest experiences. That is why, even in a polluted or diluted form, if you start, that's great. Somehow, somewhere begin, start. Today, on the International Yoga Day, I request the whole Nityananda Sangha to decide in this next 1 year, by next International Yoga Day, next June 21st, all over the world, in all countries, we should have introduced yoga at least in the initial health-based postures level. Please understand, there are many organizations, groups, individuals working to teach and spread yoga. All I am trying to do is bring them all back to the original root. Authentic scriptures, either the scriptures written by Mahadeva Adiyogi himself or Patanjali, who organized the yoga system, or Swatma Rama, one of the greatest Hatha Yoga master. Any one of these few great yogis, please understand, these few great yogis have created enough of authentic literatures. We should introduce yoga with authentic, original verses from the scripture and teach yoga. This will remove confusions among the students who are practicing yoga and teachers who are teaching yoga. I request all the students of yoga, practitioners of yoga, ask this one question before you start your practice to your teacher. Is this practice, is this set of practice, postures, techniques, whatever you are supposed to do, is it from the original scriptures? Please give us the reference. If all the students decide to demand the ISI mark, approval of the scriptures, yoga will completely purified. It will do its work as Mahadeva wants. Please understand, starting, if you have started, even in a polluted, crude, raw, diluted form, it's okay. You are welcome. Nothing wrong. But now it is time you look into authentic scriptures. And original books. Fortunately, Swatmarama's Hatha Yoga literatures, Mahadeva's Agama literatures on yoga, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras are all translated by multiple scholars and available in all the international languages. We can study them, we can refer the original source. Please understand, this next 1 year as Nityananda Sangha, we should all decide and make a Satya Sankalpa to spread the original scriptures, original yogic literatures, constantly create the awareness among the yogic students, practitioners and teachers to align them back to the original literatures. I think this will be my unique contribution to the world on this International Yoga Day. Yoga is great. You are welcome. Even if you have started in diluted, polluted form, in a raw, crude form, it's okay. You are welcome. But now it is time we go back to the original scriptures. We go back to the original books written by the greatest yogis, Adi Yogi, Mahadeva, Swatmarama, the greatest Hatha Yogi, Patanjali, the father of yoga system, Maschendranatha, Gorakhnatha, the great Natha yogis, they have all written and left enough of literatures. Let us go back and align ourselves to that original literatures. in the system I am teaching, Nitya Yoga system, every act you are expected to do, whether it is a body postures or the breathing postures, the breathing activities, or visualization, verbalization, creating certain thought trends, all these are part of yoga. Everything we recommend and request you to do, we have original scriptural reference from the original yogic literatures. I recommend, request all the yogic practitioners go back to the original source, roots. Then all the dilution, pollution, corruption, everything will be removed. You will really enjoy yoga. You will enjoy it for the true purpose for which the founding forefathers have revealed yoga to this planet Earth. I have many questions from yogic practitioners. I'll try to answer some of them on this International Day of Yoga.
Dear Swamiji, I have been practicing yoga and meditation for years. I have mastered many of the asanas. Everyone around me looks at me like I am enlightened, but inside I know I am not. I have a deep yearning to experience the truth of life, but do not know where to turn. Please guide me.
Through this question, you have already turned where you need to turn. Understand? Through this question, you already turned where you need to turn. The question, dear Swamiji, I have been practicing yoga and meditation for years, have mastered all the asanas. Everyone around me looks at me like I am enlightened, but inside I know I am not. I have a deep yearning to experience the truth of life, but do not know where to turn. Please understand. This is the usual state of many people practice yoga without going to the original scriptures. But it's okay. You started in some form. Now it is time. Turn to original yogic literatures, the Swatmarama's Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Mahadeva's Shivagama Yogapatha. Don't be afraid. They are not vast, voluminous books. Just in few hundred pages, they will be able to guide you, give you clarity, and raise you to the next level and help you to achieve your enlightenment. All you need to do is just turn towards authentic scriptures or the masters who are teaching based on authentic scriptures. Please understand, fortunately, yoga has become $1 trillion industry. But flip side, the other side of it is dilution, pollution, because of the necessity to commercialize as per the tastes of the customers, clients who are practicing. So please understand, But you don't have to worry about it. The solution is here. Go back to the original scriptures written by Mahadeva, Swatmarama, Goraknatha, Maschendranatha, Patanjali. I can comfortably stand by these 5 names. Adi Yogi Mahadeva's Shivagama Yogapada, and Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and Swatmarama's Atayoga Pratipika, Kumbhaka and Atayoga literatures, Maschendranatha and Goraknatha's yogic literatures. I can very comfortably, authentically stand by these 5 great masters and books by these 5 great masters. These 5 time-tested, foolproof, with no wrong or bad side effects, will help you to reach the real purpose of the yoga by the founding forefathers. So you just need to turn towards the original scriptures or the masters who are teaching as per the original scriptures. Understand? The individual teachers, gurus, masters' expertise or their personal experience should be accepted as long as it is aligned with the original scriptures. As long as the Atma Pramana, the individual experience, is in tune with the Apta Pramana, the ancient, traditional masters' experiences. So if there is a difference between these two, always go back to the ancient master's experience. That should be the touchstone. Ancient, authentic scripture should be the touchstone. So understand, it is time for you to turn towards the authentic scriptures or the masters who teach from the authentic scriptures. Next.
Next question. What are siddhis and what is their purpose? Are they real? And how can authentic yoga practice help develop siddhis?
Please understand, in the modern day, kind of a deep hatred has been created on siddhis by some of the yogis who don't know the science of siddhis. Understand, siddhis are like milestones in your journey. Milestones themselves are not destination, but they encourage you, inspire you, excite you, and tell you you are on the right direction. Siddhis are encouraging milestones. And I tell you, they are really, really real. They are neither illusion, hallucination, whims or fancies. They are really, really real. And any authentic yoga practice as per the yogic literatures I am talking, authentic yogic literatures will develop siddhis in you. Please understand. Do not do. Keep this as a law. rule. Do not do any yoga or technique or pranayama practice unless it awakens some siddhi within 21 days in you. Please understand. Within 21 days, it should awaken some siddhi or spiritual experience, intense spiritual experience. Otherwise, please do not continue that. It is not for you. Either it is not cooked with the right ingredients or it is not meant for you. Go back to original source, original authentic spiritual literatures, original authentic yogic scriptures. I have seen the so-called many yogis, gurus, gurujis, teachers, masters go on claiming healing should not be done, siddhis should not be achieved. What is siddhi? When you are traveling in certain path towards enlightenment, automatically powers start manifesting in you. Your consciousness starts expressing, the more and more light is radiated. I am not asking you to stop at milestones, at siddhis. But I am telling you, if the siddhis don't express, there is something seriously wrong in the very path you are walking. If you don't see the milestones, the road you are walking may not be leading you to your goal. Yoga is no more a no man's land. It's clearly defined journey by the great masters like Mahadeva, Adi Yogi, Patanjali, Swatmarama, Gorakhnatha, Maschendranatha. The great yogis have done enough of powerful, foolproof, time-tested GPS, which never gets expired. Understand? Yoga is not no man's land where you just have to walk blindfolded. Of course, if you are initiated into your third eye, you will be able to walk blindfolded. But be informed, siddhis are neither wrong nor the destination. Unless the siddhis manifest, you may not be following the right practice and techniques. If the siddhis are not manifesting, go back to the original scripture or the masters who are teaching based on original scriptures. Next.
Next question. It seems many modern day types of yoga might not be aligned to the Vedic tradition. But what is the harm? They make me feel good. Are there any dangers with practicing forms of yoga which aren't authentic to the Vedic scriptures?
The question somebody is asking, it seems many modern day types of yoga might not be aligned to the Vedic tradition. But what is the harm? They make me feel good. Are there any dangers with practicing forms of yoga which are not authentic to the Vedic scriptures? Let me be very honest. Because I have not practiced anything which is not aligned to the Vedic tradition, I have no opinion about it. I am very clear. I stand for the yoga which is completely aligned to Vedic, yogic, original scriptures and literatures. I practiced only that. It helped me. There is no harm in it. So I am sharing that with the world. Anything which is not aligned to the Vedic tradition and yogic literatures, I have no comments about it, and I don't have any opinion about it. I don't want to give any guarantee about those practices, and I have nothing to say. People ask me, can we practice instead of Om during the yoga, instead of chanting Om or other Sanskrit mantras, can we chant something else? I tell them, I do not know, I have no idea, I have no comments. I stand by the original Vedic tradition, based on the original Vedic literatures, yogic scriptures. That is what I practiced. I had the fortune of having a guru who is master of these Vedic scriptures, yogic scriptures, and I learned from him. I know the benefits of that. I am sharing that with you all. I have no comments about any other questions. I am not a politician. I am not going to stand in election. I don't need secular votes. So I don't need to comment whether something is right or wrong. I am a yogic guru who stands completely with the Hindu tradition, with the Vedic tradition, with the yogic tradition. So let me stop my work with what I know. I have no comments about anything which is not aligned to the Vedic tradition or yogic scriptures. Next.
Next question. I am already an experienced teacher with my own practice, which I developed. How can I align myself to be more authentic to the tradition?
Great. Just pick up these few books. There are clear books, Asana Patati, Kumbhaga Patati, Pranayama Patati, Hatha Yoga Pratipika, time-tested, foolproof, authentic yogic scriptures. Pick them up, start reading. Simply you will know how to align yourself to that. And there are yoga Upanishads. In the 108 original Upanishads, there are yoga Upanishads. Pick up those yoga Upanishads, and yoga Upanishads very clearly describe the asanas, breathing techniques, everything. So pick up the yoga Upanishads, Kumbhaga Patati, Asana Patati, Hatha Yoga Pratipika, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and read. You will simply know how to align yourself authentic to the original, traditional, yogic and Vedic scriptures. Next.
Many of my students and people around me like yoga, but they don't want to associate it with Hinduism. Is there anything wrong with this? Can you please elaborate?
I think again I answered this question already. I stand with yoga, which is from the original roots, the yogic literatures, which is at least 10,000 years old. The yogic scriptures, which is deep-rooted in Vedic tradition, from Hinduism. So I stand for that tradition. Anybody comes, I am ready to share the science of yoga with them, I myself do not force anybody to accept Hinduism or convert themselves to Hindu religion. But I am also not encouraging people resisting Hinduism who say, I don't want to associate with Hinduism. I am neither forcing anybody to convert to Hinduism, nor I am encouraging people who say, I don't want to associate with Hinduism, I don't want to chant Om along with yoga, I don't want to chant Sanskrit mantras along with yoga, I don't want to do Surya Namaskar. I am neither encouraging that. So I am very clear. It is now up to the individuals who teach or learn. I don't have any comments. I think my message today is loud and clear. Let's go back to the source. Let's open the original books, the original scriptures, original literatures. Follow only that. Live only that. That's all is my message on this International Yoga Day. I request and recommend at least all my disciples and followers go back to the original source, the yogic literatures, yogic scriptures, Vedic literatures. As I was telling, don't bother about these controversies. Let us not waste our time in trying to answer these controversies, trying to pass our opinions in these controversies. It's waste of time. Neither I am a politician who is supposed to convince everyone, nor you are practicing yoga for the sake of some reason of convincing somebody or the way somebody is convinced. You are a seeker who wants the truth. I am a master here to share the truth with you. That's all. And our great masters have clearly spelled out, without any doubt, which has no expiry date. Very clearly they spelled out everything. How to close your nose to how to inhale, every step is described by the great masters, Adi Yogi, Mahadeva, and Swatmarama, Goraknatha, Maschendranatha, Patanjali. When they have spelled it out clearly, what's the need for going anywhere? So time-tested, foolproof, no expiry date, yogic literatures and Vedic scriptures are still available. When they are available, why waste our time in discussing something else? Let's be aligned to that and enjoy, realize our full potential. Even this third eye awakening, many powers associated with the third eye awakening, like blindfold reading, all these are from the original yogic scriptures and literature. These siddhis manifest when you practice the yoga from the original scriptures and literatures. I recommend all the practitioners and teachers to use this as a touchstone, measuring scale for any step you need to do, whether bending the body or blowing the nose. It's whether asana or breathing technique, pranayama, kriya, or visualization or meditation, for anything, go back to the original source, the original scriptures, the original instructions, and practice it, get benefited by it. So with this, I invite Ma Yoga to take over and lead us into Nitya Kriya for inner peace.
Nityananda. So we'll now enter into the Nitya Kriyas. The Nitya Kriyas is a series of yogic healing processes designed by Paramahamsa Nityananda Swamiji. And the uniqueness of these Kriyas is that each one of the steps have been directly rooted from the scriptures, and the permutation combination of these techniques have been designed by research and development from Swamiji's own experience for achieving the purpose for which these Kriyas were developed. Now we will enter into the Nitya Kriya for inner peace. So this Kriya has 3 steps in it, and we'll start first with Vajrasana. We'll start sitting in Vajrasana. And I'll describe the verse from the Garanda Samhita, Upadesha 2, verse 12. And the translation is, having hardened the thighs like steel, placing both legs on the sides of the anus, it is called Vajrasana, which gives extraordinary powers. So just sit on your heels with your knees bent, spine straight. And with this position, we'll proceed for the next step. The next step is the Nadi Shodhana, Nadi Shuddhi, which is coming from the Hatha Pradipika, Upadesha 4, verse 11 and 13. Having drawn the air through the same nostril through which it has exhaled, the breath should be retained for the maximum capacity. Then exhalation should be done through the other nostril, very slowly and not in speed. So we'll sit in Vajrasana. We're going to use the thumbs closing the right nostril, inhaling through the left nostril, slowly and deeply, closing both nostrils simultaneously as you hold the inhale, retaining the breath for as long as you can, judiciously. And when you're not able to hold anymore, you can slowly exhale through the opposite nostril, exhaling slowly. And again, you're going to inhale through the same nostril, slowly through the nostril, holding the breath as you retain the inhale, judiciously. And when you're ready to exhale, you can exhale through the opposite nostril. For all of the Kriyas and yoga steps, it is a reminder for anyone with any heart condition to please breathe slowly and gently through the nose. There's no need for retention of the breath. Others, please continue with the inhale through each nostril as we alternate nostrils, holding the inhale, retaining the inhale, and exhaling slowly through the opposite nostril. As we continue this for the next 2 minutes, continue sitting comfortably in Vajrasana as you continue the Nadi Shodhana Kumbhaka. And as you do this, make sure that your spine is straight, shoulders relaxed. As you lengthen the inhale retaining the inhale and exhaling slowly through the opposite nostril. Continue the Nadi Shodhana Kumbhaka. Inhaling deeply and slowly. As you exhale through the opposite nostril. This Nitya Kriya for inner peace has been designed to balance the hormonal fluctuations in the body. The hormonal fluctuations that bring confusion, conflict, insecurity. So by practicing this Kriya, we are balancing not only the hormonal fluctuations in our body, but also the energy system. So we can be wired to be in the space of completion, the space of clarity and emotional stability in our lives. So we're able to handle the day-to-day life situations and stress. A few more seconds to go. Just continue breathing deeply. And you can relax as we get ready for the next step, which is Trishula Kumbhaka. Trishula Kumbhaka is coming from the Kumbhaka Padati, verse 193. Translation says, always inhale through the nostrils and the mouth together at the same time. It is called the Trishula Kumbhaka, the remover of triple sufferings, as explained by the Trishuli Shiva. So we're going to inhale through the nostrils and the mouth simultaneously, holding the inhale as long as you can judiciously. And when you're holding the inhale, you can close the nostrils to prevent the air to exit from your system. So inhaling through the mouth and the nostrils simultaneously. Retain the inhale within you for as long as you can judiciously. And when you're ready to exhale, you can exhale through the nostrils slowly. And we'll do this for the next 7 minutes. So continue inhaling through the nose and the mouth simultaneously. Retaining the inhale, closing the nostrils, relaxing the shoulders. And when you're ready to exhale, slowly exhale through the nose. Slowly exhaling. And continue this Trishula Kumbhaka for the next few minutes. continue Trishula Kumbhaka sincerely and intensely. You can continue. Continue the inhale through the nose and the mouth simultaneously as you retain the inhale within you for as long as you can. Exhaling through the nose slowly. This is called Trishula Kumbhaka. Please continue Trishula Kumbhaka. Slowly release, relax, as we're going to move on to the next step. It's called Trinetra Kumbhaka, and it's from Kumbhaka Paddhati, verse 192. Translation goes as follows. Inhale through the left nostril and retain the breath. Inhale through the right nostril and retain the breath. Then inhale through both the nostrils and retain the breath. All these three before exhalation. This is Trinetra Kumbhaka, the giver of the three siddhis, as explained by the three-eyed Shiva. So we're going to enter into the Kumbhaka as we inhale through the left nostril Then close both nostrils as you hold the inhale. Hold for as long as you can judiciously. Without exhalation, inhale through the right nostril. Hold the breath as long as you can judiciously. Again, without exhaling, inhale through both the nostrils and hold the breath for as long as you can judiciously. When you're ready to exhale, exhale through both the nostrils very slowly. And we're going to continue this Kumbhaka for the next 7 minutes. So continue the Trinetra Kumbhaka. Vajrasana with your eyes closed for a few minutes. Just sitting Vajrasana for a few minutes, allowing the flow of energy to circulate through your whole body, the space of restful awareness. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Satguru Padukarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam.
I also wanted to commit with all of you. This year, we will bring out all the authentic yogic literatures and scriptures by my very own translation. At least 10 original authentic Vedic scriptures, yogic scriptures by some of these great masters. We will bring it out as a practical manual, as my humble offering to the world on this International Yoga Day. I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living enlightenment, living Advaita, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.